Colorado High School Activities Association football is on Morgan County's B106 and B106.com tonight from Everly Montgomery Field in Longmont. It's another North Valley League clash as the visiting Fort Morgan Mustangs take on the Niwot Cougars. Pleasant good evening. I'm John Beltran with Brian Nickel and Kevin Rohde. With the Mustangs at 3-0 in North Valley League play and 7-1 overall. 0-3 is the Niwot record in league play. And they are 3-5 on the season. The teams are out at midfield. Brian, let's get to your nickel package. We know the Mustangs, if they just show up tonight, they'll be able to win this game. But 5 things they really have to do effectively well just to make sure they win with a quality performance as opposed to just having more points on the scoreboard.
Right, and it's tough to come out and play offensively any better than they did last week when they came out and scored 6 touchdowns on their first 6 possessions. But tonight they can't look ahead to next week. We know everybody knows that Erie is going to be the big game. That comes up a week from tomorrow night. But they have business to do here tonight. They've got to take care of business and have a good quality win here. Liam Flanagan is the running back for Niwot, 5 touchdowns on the year, a little over 600 yards, and he'll be the main threat on the ground. He has he has 173 carries on the year, so he's going to be their main horse tonight, and that's the kid they need to stop. Number 3, if they do get to where they're going to be punting, they need to work on that snap. They have to have that down so it's not going over the head of the punter. 4th thing is the extra point. They had a little problem with that last week a couple of times, so you got to make sure that they get that extra point because that may come up pretty important here next week and once they get into the playoffs. And then the 5th one is get to that 40-point lead, get some starters out of there, get them rested up, make sure they don't get injured, as we're going to need everybody on hand for next week.
And Kevin, Niwot is going to receive the opening kickoff, and I like that for Fort Morgan. There's some teams they like the ball immediately, but it seems Fort Morgan, especially last week against Thompson Valley, heck, even the week before against Northridge, when Northridge had the ball first, it was Fort Morgan's defense that established the momentum before Fort Morgan's offense.
Right, Fort Morgan's defense is definitely the strength of the team. I think not taking anything away from the offense, but Fort Morgan's defense is the one that's really truly playing Fort Morgan football, and that's just dominating with hard hits and trying to control the line of scrimmage and punish the runners. And I think Niwot's going to come out with somewhat of a balanced offense. They have good success both passing and running. But I think one thing that'll be different is their quarterback. If you look at his stats, he is 42 for 93 for 468 yards with 2 touchdowns, but he has 6 interceptions, and he is not a dual threat. He has 13 carries for negative 44 yards.
Yeah, that's a sophomore, Aiden Bartko, as Niwot is coached by Jeremy Lanter, the assistant Stan Matsunaka, Corey Lanter, Mike Byers, Tyson Painter, Marcus Matthias, and Jim DuBois, Scott Thomas, Kyle Welt, Ron Stedman, Ryan Fager, and John Vanage. Mustangs coached by Ty Davies, assisted by Josh Langford, Greg Edson, Jim Kreckemeyer, Ian Moreno, Andy Schoen, TJ Schneider, Seth Wolf, Chris Cobley, Jeff Peterson, Eric Sherman, Kyle Growlis, Drew Davies, and Gary Davies, as the opening kickoff tonight from Everly Montgomery Field is brought to you by Ingmeyer Phillips Insurance. Things happen in life. Make sure you're prepared with the right insurance coverage. Ingmeyer Phillips Insurance and Brush in Fort Morgan. And to kick it off for the Mustangs, that's going to be Adam Cardona again. Back deep to receive. Jared Noterman is out there. And Liam Flanagan, who both Brian and Kevin referenced as their big threat on a gorgeous Thursday night. Temperature in the upper 50s here in Longmont with no wind whatsoever. Look at that flag off to our right. It is limp. No movement out of that United States flag. The Mustangs in their road whites. The dark green uniforms for Niwot, and that ball is booted, and Flanagan fields it on the hop at the 11. Running to his right to the 15-yard line, trying to find a sideline, scoots it to the outside, and then he's tackled from behind at about the 21. A nice special teams play. And Niwot now will set up just beyond the 20-yard line with their sophomore quarterback, Aiden Bartko. Mustangs defensively led by Isaac Linker in terms of tackles. Go ahead, Brian.
No, the kickoff team for the Mustangs does a great job, have all year, on keeping the receivers from getting downfield, we'll also have a penalty.
Yeah, there was a block in the back. That was thrown right in front of the Fort Morgan bench, so now they're actually going to start inside their 12-yard line. So already early trouble here in terms of field position for Niwot. A naked backfield. 4 receivers to the left and 1 to the right. About 3 yards behind center is Bartko awaiting the snap. A one-step drop, throws it out in the left flat, caught underneath at the 8-yard line, swinging it towards the sideline, and knocked out of bounds at about the 18. A gain of about 7 or 8 there to Isaac Fisk.
Looked like Fort Morgan didn't recognize the quads to that side, and they only had 3 defensive backs, and they were able to block them, and Fort Morgan will have to adjust.
It's a gain of 7. Well, this looks very similar to what Lutheran did, although I don't think Lutheran ever had 4 receivers to one side. 2nd down and 3 to go from the 19. 2 receivers now to the left, 1 to the right. Running backs to each side of Bartko, and we have movement along the offensive line. It'll be a false start against Niwot. And a lot of times when a team has a losing record, it's mistakes like that that can contribute to it.
Lack of concentration.
Yep.
Engineering and consulting services for all of your projects. Western Engineering Consultants, strong commitment to their clients' needs, sets them apart. Get your project started the right way. Western Engineering Consultants. 2nd down and 8 to go now from their own 14. Bartko to his right, throws it out there. It's caught again by Fisk. Now he'll heave it down the center of the field, and that one is going to be caught at the 44-yard line. A double pass. Actually, one was obviously a lateral, and it's complete, I believe, to Jonathan Colon. And that's going to go for 29 yards and a 1st down with some trickery for Niwot.
Yeah, pulling out the old tricks early. Might as well catch us off guard while we're thinking you're going to be playing your game plan.
Now under center this time is Bartko, 1st and 10 from the 43. Bartko awaits the snap, has it. He'll hand it off on the left side. That's Flanagan. He's got a yard, maybe 2. Initial penetration by Alex Ortega and Isaac Linker. It'll be 2nd down and 8 to go from the 45-yard line. And we know that a play like that they just executed 2 plays ago is not something you can really get away with even more than once, to be honest with you.
Right.
Yeah, go ahead.
I was just going to say, it seems like Niwot's taking a page out of Northridge's game plan, and that is trying to run things that we're not looking for.
4 receivers out to the left. Now Isaac Fisk in motion, running to his left here. The quarterback, Bartko, is going to be sacked. James Hokenato in that backfield, along with Nick Norris throwing him down at the 39. I mean, they were unblocked,
right.
And it's a loss of 6 yards, and that'll set up a 3rd down and 14 to go for Niwot. He barely had any time after taking a couple of steps to his left.
Right, you put 4 guys out on the side, you don't leave very many people in to block.
Well, you got to get rid of it quickly, but even if he got rid of it quickly, he was still going to get hit.
Right.
That's how fast both Hokenato and Norris were in that backfield. 3rd and 14 for Niwot at their own 39-yard line. 10:05 to go. We're in the opening quarter. Fort Morgan has yet to touch the football. Flanagan in motion to the right. Back to throw, setting up a screen out to the left. It's caught by Colon at the 40-yard line. He's got a seam to the outside across the 50 to the 46. He's got a 1st down. Mustangs were not there. It's a gain of 15, and the drive continues.
Again, they probably looked at the film and saw that Fort Morgan's susceptible to that screen. And we'll see that probably again.
Yeah, Fort Morgan kind of overcommitted there. I'm telling you, I'm impressed with Niwot so far based on what they're doing.
Yep.
But Fort Morgan's got to stay disciplined. You know, we've seen this before. 4th and 17, now a 3rd and 14. Now it's from the 46-yard line of Fort Morgan. Under center is Bartko. And he will pitch it left to Flanagan. No room to the outside. He's going to be run out of bounds for a loss back to the 49, and tremendous penetration by Alex Ortega, the senior. He was the leading tackler before he missed a game, but he's still a 2nd leading tackler. 2nd down and 13. You just got to string together back-to-back plays at this point because you brought up the Northridge game, and there are some similarities in terms of moving the ball down the field, although Northridge did it a little bit differently. Liam Flanagan with 2 carries for a -1 yard. Second down and 13 to go for the Mustang 49-yard line. Out of the pistol, back to throw is Bartko. Out to his right, wide open underneath, caught, but an immediate tackle was made. And I think that might have been Fisk again. And Moya was out there. The gain is 7, though. So they're picking up some yardage out here. Third down and 6 to go.
They kind of have Fort Morgan on their heels, just trying to figure out what they're trying to do.
And if they gain 3 or 4 yards here, this could be 4-down territory. Third down and 6 to go for the Mustang 42. From the pistol formation, Aiden Bartko, the sophomore, has the football. 2-step drop, throws to his left, and it's going to be off the right hand of the intended receiver at the 34-yard line, defended by Connor Fajardo, and he was going for Fisk again. It'll be 4th down, and Niwot, which started off at their own 12-yard line, was able to move the ball into Mustang territory. Now they will punt on 4th down, and the first incompletion thrown by Aiden Bartko. He's 4 for 5 in that first possession for 58 yards. Well, now are they going to go for it? Let's see, the Mustangs have a man back. Now retreating. They'll retreat in punt formation. But it's only a 4th and 6. Got to watch out. And here comes the rush, and it's a low line drive headed out of bounds, and that is a tremendous punt down to about the 2-yard line. I mean, that could have not gone any better for Niwot. And Eric Ruiz, who saw the massive rush coming, and he did the smart thing. Not only do you kick it quickly, you kick it low and towards the pylon.
Right, the coffin corner.
But that took about 3 hops before it landed out of bounds.
Yeah, that was good.
At about the 3. First and 10 for the Mustangs, at the 3-yard line. 8:48 to go in the opening quarter. And let's see if J.P. Hamer can get him out of a hole, as he's done so many times this year. Linker from the pistol in his own end zone. He'll take it himself, run to his right across the 5 to the 10, back to the inside. It's a first down. Isaac Linker was upended at about the 14-yard line by Gabe Holtquist. And also into the play, Isaac Fisk. But he had a huge hole to the right, a gain of 12.
Yeah, he's got some speed, but he doesn't have Hamer speed. Boy, I would have liked to see Hamer hit that hole full speed.
Well, you know what? You might see him hit the hole on this play. First and 10 for Fort Morgan. At their own 15-yard line. And here's the handoff to Hamer, stutter stepping, bouncing it to the outside, back to the inside. He's got very little room, and it takes about 4 Niwot Cougars to drive him back at about the 17, maybe the 18-yard line. A short gain for Hamer, but he certainly didn't have the type of daylight to the outside that Isaac Linker did. It'll be 2nd down, and we'll call it 7 to go. A gain of 3 for Hamer, and 3 well-earned yards, Brian.
Yeah, there wasn't a lot of blocking out there, like you said, on that first play that Linker had. But Hamer's been a tough runner all year.
2nd down and 7 yards to go from the 18. Linker, play action, rolling out to his left, throwing underneath. It's caught along the sideline. That's a first down. That might be Cardona getting loose there for Fort Morgan at the 30-yard line.
38.
I think it's Jesus Villalobos.
Yeah, Villalobos. Across the other side. I don't think he's caught a pass this year.
Nope, first time he's touched the ball offensively.
It's a gain of 13. Yeah, they're saying Ortega. I don't think it was Ortega.
No.
Linker completing his first pass, 1st and 10 from the 31-yard line. Trips to the right, 1 receiver to the left. Linker from the pistol, hands it off to Hamer, right up the gut to the 35. Daylight to the 40, in the secondary to the 50. He's got nobody to beat. By himself at the 20, up the left sideline to the 10 to the 5. It's a touchdown. J.P. Hamer, 69 yards for the Mustangs senior, his 9th rushing touchdown, and the Mustangs lead 6-0 in Longmont.
Yeah, once he got through that initial line of scrimmage, there wasn't anybody back there to get him. They weren't going to catch him.
Right. And they kind of set the trips receivers out to the right as the decoy and then ran back the other direction. And Hamer hit that hole and no one touched him.
Now the Mustangs out of that swinging gate. Nope, they'll attempt the extra point. And attempting the extra point will be Adam Cardona. Awaiting the snap is Linker. And now we got a flag. Was that a delay of game?
Got too many people out there. 25 either shouldn't be there or someone should have been.
Well, it's Jacob Ortega.
Only
Now off the field now is Ernie Sandoval, the sophomore. Well, that can't happen. I'm sorry, that cannot happen this late in the season.
No.
Especially when you're getting more competitive games coming up. Now it's going to turn into a 25-yard extra point for Cardona.
one of my 5 points, and they mess up on the first one.
Yeah, this is not going to be easy. 25 yards, that's not that short of a kick at the high school level in 3A. Linker awaits the snap. Here comes the rush. The kick is up. Boy, he boots that beautifully. He would have made that from about 40. 7:14 to go, first quarter. The score, Fort Morgan 7, Niwot nothing on B106 and B106.com. The Mustangs with a 7-0 lead over the Niwot Cougars on a 97-yard drive. 69-yard gallop by J.P. Hamer, who went into the game with 1,083 yards and 8 touchdowns on the ground and 12 overall in the season, now with 13 because 3 returns off a kickoff and 1 receiving. Flanagan at the 13-yard line, spins to his left across the 15 along the left sideline. Then he's hit at about the 26, 27-yard line. The tackle was made, and then a late flag. Not sure what that's about, as the tackle was made by Fort Morgan's Matt Flores at the 26, a return of 13. But let's see what this flag is all about, because that'd be the second straight return that a penalty marker has been thrown.
Yeah, looks like it's against Niwot. They're looking over at Fort Morgan.
Well, the last time it was a block in the back, and this time a face mask against Fort Morgan, but only a 5-yard face mask. By the way, that 69-yard run by J.P. Hamer, the opening score of the game, is brought to you by Cargill Meat Solutions, working with the community to make sure there are jobs for the members of the communities they're in. That's Cargill Meat Solutions. 1st and 10 for Niwot at their own 31-yard line. Under center is Aiden Bartko. 2 receivers out to the left. With 1 setback, that's Flanagan. Rolling out to his right. Ortega is going to throw him down at the 20-yard line. Alex Ortega came on a blitz and threw. Why are they marking that back at the 24? He didn't have that much backwards progress. I mean, I know he threw him back at the 21, but they're marking the football at the 24. I think that contact was made towards the 23, 22-yard line. It's a loss of 7, second sack by the Mustangs. And, I mean, this is not the NFL.
Nope.
No, it's not.
I mean, they're being no. But what I'm saying is that it's almost like first contact, but not even there. That's not even a good mark. 2nd down and 17 for the 24-yard line for Niwot. Rolling out to his left, Bartko throws it out to the left. It's caught underneath, and Jonathan Colon is going to be thrown down for a loss at the 22-yard line. Bunch of Mustangs in there. Ortega around the football. Also in there for Fort Morgan was Brian Paxton. Loss of 2.
So far, a much better defensive series for Fort Morgan. Now, if they can just keep Niwot from picking up this long 3rd and 20.
Yep. 19 to be exact. They've got to get to the 41. 7-0 Fort Morgan. 5:49 to go in the opening quarter on a 69-yard gallop by J.P. Hamer. 4 receivers out to the right, 1 to the left. 2-step drop, looking left, throwing underneath. The pass is caught at the 28, across the 30. Then Ortega has the receiver along with Connor Fajardo at the 32-yard line. Gain of 10 as the pass was caught by Jared Noterman. But it'll be 4th down and 9 to go, and Niwot will have to punt again.
Yeah, they backed off them there a little bit just to keep the receivers in front of them. And then did a nice closing on him.
Well, we know that Eric Ruiz, a junior, pulled off an incredible punt last time. Standing at his own 18. And heavy rush, he gets it off. That's a gorgeous punt. Backing up is Ortega. He's got it at the 25, running to his right to the 30. Along the right sideline, 35. Stutter stepping back to the middle at the 40. And now down at the 43. A penalty flag is down at the 40-yard line. We'll see what that's all about. that could nullify what's a very good 18-yard return. Unless that's not, I see a flag right there.
Yeah, it was thrown by the back judge. It looked like maybe a crackback block or a block in the back.
Well, the crackback is worse than the block in the back in terms of penalty yardage.
Fort Morgan's lucky that where the flag isn't really the spot, because he threw it from about 20 yards downfield, and it probably would have been another 5 yards
It
down.
is a block in the back. Well, not too bad, because it was at the, well, they're walking it back even further.
To the 30.
Yeah, 10 yards. Could have been worse. 1st and 10 for the Mustangs. Much better field position than the last time when they needed 97 yards to find the end zone. On 1st and 10. At their own 30-yard line. Out of the pistol formation is Isaac Linker. Hands it off to Hamer. Back towards the left side to the 35 and tackle from behind. At about the 38-yard line. It's a solid gain of 8 for J.P. Hamer. 3 carries for 80 yards. Right up to the line of scrimmage of the Mustangs. Hamer last week had 160 yards on, I believe, 13 or 14 carries.
Yeah, he's such a smart runner, too.
Well, the clock is moving, so that's the Niwot's not advantage, but I'm sure they want to play a full game tonight and not get this to a running clock. Coming on a blitz, 2nd down and 2. Linker throws out to his left. It's incomplete, off the hands of the intended receiver at the 47-yard line. A little bit high, but should have been caught. I think that's Connor Fajardo out there. Yep, it is, but I thought that pass should have been caught. It was high, but not that high.
I think he was stumbling as he was coming back to it and didn't really have a chance to jump up and get to it.
And Fort Morgan picked up the blitz very nicely. 3rd down and 2. Expect a running play here at their own 38-yard line. Up 7-0 in Longmont over the Niwot Cougars with 4:07 to go here in the opening quarter. 2 receivers to the left, 1 to the right. Hamer the lone setback. Man in motion to the right is Ortega. Linker takes it himself to his right, and he stretches out the football, but he's not going to get there. His right knee was down, even though the football landed at the 40. But he was down just past the 39, a gain of 1. If you're Fort Morgan, you think you got to go for it here. On 4th down and less than a yard, and they're right up to the line of scrimmage along that right hash mark.
Yeah, should be able to pick this up without any problem.
This is the one situation where I think they need to practice and get Linker under center.
Yeah, like they did against Roosevelt when they closed out that game. They had him under center. Yeah, because right now he's 4 yards behind center. Probably will hand it off to Hamer, as he does, running to his left, bouncing it to the outside. 1st down to the 45, breaks the tackle at the 50 in the secondary as he's tackled along the left sideline across the 40 towards the 35, maybe the 34-yard line, but a nice run there by J.P. Hamer. It's a gain of 26 yards and a Mustang 1st down.
Yeah, you got to bounce outside there. You can see that Niwot had that middle all plugged up there, and he just bounced it out. Found some running room out there on the left side.
4 carries for 106 yards for J.P. Hamer. So he's going to hit 1,200 for the season if he picks up just 11 more yards, and we're still in the opening quarter. With 3:17 to go, the clock is stopped since he went out of bounds. Trips to the right, 1 receiver to the left. Pistol formation, 5 yards behind center is Linker. And he will keep it himself right up the gut. And he dives to about the 31. Cale Langford was in there as the running back that time. And it's a gain of 4 before the hit was made by Eric Fernandez, a 5'11", 240-pound junior. 2nd down, we'll call it 5 as the ball's closer to the 30-yard line. Actually gave him a better spot than I thought there. Cardona and Ortega lining up as the receivers to the right. The outside receiver to the left is Connor Fajardo, 2nd and 5. There's the give to Langford, bouncing it back to the middle, and he doesn't have much, a gain of 2. 3rd down and 3 to go. Again, running into the middle of the defense. That time the hit was made by Corey Rathburn, a 5'11", 140-pound senior.
Looked like he didn't really have vision on that play. There was an opening out to the right, but he didn't cut. He just followed his hole and ran right into the defender. 3rd
down and 3 to go from the 28-yard line. Hamer this time is in the backfield. Will he get it? Yes, he will. Running to his left, it's a first down. A flag is down. Hamer to the 10, to the 5. He's going to score, but I think Fort Morgan was moving there. I think that's a penalty against Fort Morgan, unless somehow Niwot was offsides. But I think Hamer was actually moving before the ball was even snapped.
Well, in both of those situations, I think they would have called it dead. It has to be like an illegal formation or an illegal shift.
No, it's an illegal formation. You're right, Kevin. Right, a false start would have stopped the play, but that was thrown immediately. So instead of a 28-yard touchdown for Hamer, it's going to be now a 3rd down and 8 to go for the 33. Under 2 minutes to go in the opening quarter.
And a dangerous play there as Hamer went in the end zone. He was 3 yards deep in the end zone, and the Niwot kid tackled him from behind and fell on the back of his legs. Luckily, Hamer is not hurt on that, but the refs got to watch that too to make sure that there isn't tackles when there doesn't need to be.
Just shy of the 33. 3rd down and 8 yards to go. Hamer's got a 69-yard touchdown in this game. The referee's calling for the clock to move, but of course, somebody's asleep at the wheel. We've seen that before. On 3rd down, play action. Linker throws out to his left, wide open underneath. That's a first down along the left sideline. Across the 30 to the 28. And is that Villalobos again? I think it is Villalobos.
Ernie Sandoval.
Ernie Sandoval, yep, who's got a similar build, a little bit taller. And it's a gain of 11. And Sandoval with his first catch of the season. Ernie's got great hands. Last year in freshman ball, he caught a lot of passes and led the team in receiving touchdowns.
That's good to see him using them. Give him a little bit different look.
From the 22, Linker rolls out to his right. Plenty of protection. Throws on the run towards the end zone. It is incomplete. Connor Fajardo was out there, but well defended by Isaac Fisk. The ball was overthrown and behind Fajardo's left shoulder. 2nd down and 10 yards to go for Fort Morgan in Niwot territory.
He was open. He just overthrew him a little bit.
And again, how many times have we seen they go from a pass play to a running play?
Right.
Especially in a game like this where their offense is not in perfect rhythm, but it is moving the ball down the field. Fort Morgan scored in their first possession. Looking to do the same on their second. 2nd and 10. Handoff, Hamer. Hamer stutter stepping back to the inside to the 20. Then he fumbled. But I think the Mustangs jumped on it right there at the 20-yard line. And Hamer usually has very sure hands. It's a gain of 2. I'm not sure who jumped on it. I think it might have been getting up at the bottom. Might have been Jordan Wilgenberg. 3rd down and 8 to go for Fort Morgan at the 20-yard line. 2 receivers out to the right. Nearly movement along the Niwot defensive line. Ernie Sandoval in on that inside slot to the left. Hamer the lone setback. Mustangs looking over towards the sideline for play instructions. Linker awaits the snap. 4 yards behind center. Hands it off to Hamer, off left tackle to the 15. He's got a first down, still barreling inside the 10, carrying defenders to the 4. J.P. Hamer with a solid run. They'll backtrack the football to the 6, but it's now to the 4. We had the official got confused. It's a gain of 16, 1st and goal at the 4.
And that's Fort Morgan football. It just opened up big holes, moved the line of scrimmage 2 or 3 yards down the field.
Yeah, that wasn't even a fancy play. That looks like something you'd run on a 3rd and 3.
Yep.
Not on a 3rd and 8. 1st and goal for the 4. Ortega in motion to the left, has the pitch left, swinging it to the outside, back towards the middle, and he's down at the 2, maybe the 1. We'll give Ortega 3 yards, just beyond the 2-yard line, but closer to the 1. Jacob Ortega has 1 rushing touchdown this year. And I don't know if they're going to get the play off because we're at 9 seconds to go here in the opening quarter. Fort Morgan is going to have to go 98 yards the other way just to run the next play. And that's going to be the case. 1 second, and they do not get it off. Well, I don't think they got it off, but they're going to say they did. Hamer with a handoff touchdown. That clock actually read 0 on the handoff, but they're going to give Hamer off left tackle the touchdown from 1 yard out on the final play of the second quarter, and the Mustangs lead 13-0. Yeah, there's no question in my mind that the clock had expired. Right. But you know what? I think the officials probably said, hey, this will be a lot easier if we don't have to do this. Much shorter drive for the Mustangs there than the 97-yarder they had. Now the extra point to be attempted by Adam Cardona. Off the snap, Linker hold. The kick is up. He's looking good with those extra points, and that one is beautiful. That was the final play of quarter number 1. It's a 1-minute break with a score. Fort Morgan 14, Niwot nothing in Longmont on B106 and B106.com. Along with Brian Nickel and Kevin Rohde, I'm John Beltran, live from Longmont with the Mustangs lead the Niwot Cougars 14-0 on the 1-yard run by J.P. Hamer. There's the kick towards the sideline, bounces at the 13 and goes out of bounds. We've seen that before. And now it'll be at the 35-yard line where Niwot has field position as we begin the second quarter. The Mustangs getting a 69-yard touchdown run from Hamer. And then a 1-yarder to close out the quarter. And Hamer so far has 125 yards on 7 carries. He's over 1,200 yards rushing for the season, putting up Tate Kemble type of numbers. Who was outstanding for 3 years as the Mustang running back from 2014 through 2016. Now we've seen different formations. We've seen 4 receivers to one side. We've seen pistol. We've seen under center. Now we got 2 receivers out to the right. Sophomore quarterback Aiden Bartko for the 35. Bartko turns and hands it off to Flanagan off right tackle. He's got a hole that's closed, but not before he gets to the 40. A gain of 5. Jacob Ortega makes the tackle. Nick Norris with the initial contact. 2nd down and 5 yards to go for Niwot.
Yeah, they found a little bit of hole there on that left side of that defense.
Well, Flanagan does have 3 carries for only 4 yards. Quickly under center, Bartko's 2nd down and 5. Mustangs coming on a run blitz, and he's got nothing. And that was an excellent play by Alex Ortega, throwing him down along with Jacob Ortega. Got back to the line of scrimmage, but Alex Ortega read that play beautifully, and now it's 3rd down and 5.
Nice to see another 3 and out like last time and be able to start dominating them and get a few more touchdowns in before half.
Well, you got to watch out for that wide receiver screen.
Yep.
You think they're going to throw that at some point, because they have already. And Fajardo and Edson are playing well off the receiver, so it looks like they're going to throw it on this play. 3rd and 5. Everybody moved, but the center did not snap the ball, so I guess he was not in line and in sync with what the snap count was. So it'll be 3rd down and 10 yards to go.
Oh, the frustration that must be in coaches' minds when you're 3 and 5 and you're playing a really good team and you finally have a drive going and you got it down to 3rd and 5 and then your center doesn't snap the ball.
Well, they struggled to win football games. I think they had lost like 19 or something in a row.
Right.
And now, they were 3 and 2, I believe. Yeah, they were 3 and 2 at one point. 3rd and 10 from the pistol, spinning to his left, setting up a screen to the right, and it's caught, and breaking a tackle is Cologne, but then tackled out of bounds. It's going to be a late hit. Nick Norris with a late hit at the 39-yard line. And he started the tackle inbounds. Again, this is why, is this being called like an NFL game? Where, in other words, he started the tackle inbounds and he kind of fell on the receiver, but that's normally an NFL call. Yeah, that's what they're calling.
Certainly a judgment call by the officials as to whether he could lay up on that one or not.
Well, it would have been short of a 1st down. It was a gain of 5 to the 40, but now with a personal foul, it's going to be 1st and 10 for Niwot in Fort Morgan territory for the 2nd time in the opening half. They're at the Fort Morgan 45, 10 minutes and 50 seconds to go, 2nd quarter. John Beltran with Brian Nickel and Kevin Rohde. Fort Morgan with a 14-0 lead. Under center is Bartko. Let's see if Liam Flanagan gets the football. Yep, he will. Running to his right. No running room. He's going to be stacked up for a loss. Are they going to give him back to the line of scrimmage? I mean, I have not seen spotting the football this poorly.
Yeah.
I mean, terrible spotting. I'm sorry. That is just awful. They tackled him back at the 46, and they say got back to the 45. Case Gibbons, one of 4 Mustangs, in on the hit. 2nd down and 10. I mean, wasn't that a loss? Or is that just my vision?
Yeah, we're looking right down the line of scrimmage here, and it was.
And how do they give them back to the line of scrimmage? I don't get that. Second down and 10 to go for the 45. Lining up on the short side of the field to the right. Bartko will hand it off to Flanagan. Stutter stepping, running towards the middle. And he spins to the 40. A gain of 5. Third down and 5 yards to go. Miko Yanez, a sophomore, made the tackle for Fort Morgan. Flanagan's been held in check, though. 6 carries for 9 yards.
Yeah, the Mustang defense has done a nice job on him so far.
2 receivers out to the left side, 1 to the right. From the pistol on third down and 5 for the Mustang 40. Aiden Bartko to his left, throws it over the middle. The pass is caught by Cologne. That's a first down. Mustang defender went for the interception, didn't work. Got all the way to the 25, and actually that was caught by Julian Bell. And that's a gain of 15.
Edson tried to reach around and deflect the ball and just missed it, or just tipped it, and good job by the receiver to pull that in and get a few more yards.
Yeah, Bell has 14 receptions for 213 yards this year.
On first and 10 from the 25-yard line. Bartko under center. Will hand it off to Flanagan, running to his right. And then he's hit at the 23-yard line. Nick Norris got a good piece of him along with Isaac Linker. The gain is 2 for the junior Liam Flanagan. Second down and 8 yards to go. I think Niwot can't be too upset. In fact, they're only down 14-0 here with approaching the 8.5-minute mark of the second quarter.
Yes.
From the 23, second down and 8. 2 receivers split out to the right side. Bartko again under center. Bartko, play action, rolling out to his left. Has time, throws underneath. The pass is caught at about the 10, maybe the 9-yard line. That's a perfect pass on the run and a gain of 13. And that pass was caught by Bell, and it's first and goal for Niwot.
Yeah, a couple Fort Morgan defenders tripped each other up in the backfield and allowed them to have a little more time to throw that ball. It was a nicely thrown ball.
Well, I got to tell you, he's thrown for 98 yards. Has Aiden Bartko, and he's 9 of 10. He's threading that Mustang defense, and now we do have a timeout. I'm not sure who called that timeout. Might be Fort Morgan that called a timeout, which would be smart considering they need to stop that momentum that Niwot has established, because they're down at the 10-yard line with a first and goal, trailing Fort Morgan 14-0.
Several Erie football players just sat down in the bleachers in front of us, coming to watch what Fort Morgan has to offer as they look forward to playing us next week as well.
And that game will be in Fort Morgan, 7 o'clock kickoff on B106 and B106.com. But first things first, it's winning tonight's game, which is still a very competitive football game. 14-0 Fort Morgan, but the nose of the football just inside the Fort Morgan 10-yard line. And the big play on this drive was a personal foul, a questionable personal foul on a third down and 10 play that extended the drive for Niwot. 2 receivers split out to the right side once again. They've not used those 4 receivers during this possession, during this sequence. Bartko hands it off to Flanagan, running to his right, and he's going to be tackled in the backfield for a loss of 2, maybe 3 yards. Who's that Mustang getting up off the bottom of the pile? That might be Ortega.
Yeah.
Jacob Ortega. Boy, that's a perfect form tackle for a loss of 2. Second and goal for the 12, and Ortega's made a couple of key hits in this game.
Yeah, you really set the edge there and just strung it out and wouldn't let him get outside of his contain.
Yeah, the way Flanagan's going, he's not going to get to about 30 yards in this game. 8 carries for only 14 yards. Second and goal from the 12. Again under center. And there's the give right up the guts, and that's a new running back inside the 10 to the 8. That time it's Julian Molina. He's had a limited number of carries, but did gain 4 yards. Jesus Villalobos makes the play for Fort Morgan.
And Molina, 26 carries for 133 yards and 3 touchdowns on the season.
Oh, so that's the guy who one of the guys who gets the ball in the red zone.
Yep, that's their number 2 running back, I think. But first time we've seen him tonight.
We'll find out if a field goal could be an option for Niwot. They're not thinking about that right now. With 6:43 to go, second quarter, Fort Morgan leads at Everly Montgomery Field in Niwot by a score of 14-0. Third and goal at the 8. Now there are 4 receivers to the right, and with a play clock running down, Niwot has called a timeout. So both teams have exhausted a timeout. Fort Morgan's red zone defense has not been tested really in recent weeks. In fact, when Thompson Valley scored last week, those were long touchdowns. When Conifer scored week 4, when Fort Morgan had a 34-0 lead, those were long touchdowns.
Yeah, they haven't, the red zone defense has been real good.
As you can tell, the Niwot High School band off to our right side. Mobile banking on the go makes banking much easier for you. And when you're on the go, that's an Equitable Savings and Loan. Check it out today, Equitable Savings and Loan. Third down and goal from the 8-yard line for Niwot. 4 receivers out to the right, 1 to the left. Let's see if he goes to that one receiver. Looking, and the throw out to the left is caught at the 5-yard line. A flag is down, and try to break out of a tackle, but not successfully, as the catch was made over there by Jared Noterman for a gain of 3. Now let's see what the penalty marker is all about.
Illegal man downfield. Ineligible man downfield anyway.
Connor Fajardo made an excellent play. Yep, that's exactly what it is.
Somebody was covered up on that 4 receiver set on the right side.
All right.
They're looking at that number.
Yeah, you're right.
89, Jonathan Colon.
The Mustangs declined the penalty, so it is a 3-yard completion from Bartko to Noterman. Actually 2 yards. Now they mark the football to 6.
Yeah.
Well, field goal is not an option. 4th and goal from the 6-yard line.
How about a 98-yard pick 6?
Well, the Mustangs certainly have the athletes to do that. Wide receiver screen, trips to the right, 2 to the left. On 4th and goal, the pass over the middle is incomplete, but did we have a flag down? Yeah, before the play. Yeah, flag was thrown before the play.
That'll probably be illegal formation again.
Yeah,
the play is not going to count. It was incomplete over the middle, but why is Niwot switching units? Are they going to say the play counted?
Yep.
I thought I heard the whistle before.
No.
All right.
Nope.
It must be my age. Incomplete. And the Mustangs take over at the 6-yard line.
Or the wind's blowing and you turned your head a certain direction.
That's what it was. Thank you, Kevin. It takes a principal to figure that out, because certainly not from me. Well, the Mustangs went on a 98-yard drive on their first one. That resulted in a 69-yard touchdown from J.P. Hamer. Now they begin at their own 6-yard line, 94 yards away from the land of no hash marks. Fill up your cooler and gas up your car. Stubbs Gas and Oil. Very convenient. Make them the only stop you need on your way to the big game. Stubbs Gas and Oil.
So Niwot kept that for almost 6 minutes. Yeah. Kept the ball away from the Mustang offense.
Well, Hamer can score in 10 seconds if he gets a seam. Hand off to Hamer, running to his left, bouncing it to the outside of the 10. Has to get it around a defender. A flag is down. Jacob Ortega was holding, I believe, and he's out of bounds. Hamer is at the 19-yard line, but that's going to be a good call. I think Ortega had a little bit of that jersey, and that's going to nullify a 13-yard gain for J.P. Hamer.
That's always tough when you're out on the edge like that and you engage with your man. You don't know which way the running back's going to go, and your hands get extended out.
Yeah, I think he probably thought he was going to cut back inside, and then when he didn't, he ended up having to hold him.
Yep.
Well, this could be half the distance, though, because they're going to mark it from the 13. So still give Hamer 7 yards. Going to give Hamer 7 yards. It'll be back at the 6-yard line. First down and about 9 3/4 yards. I mean, it's just past the 6.
Right.
Yeah.
Ernie Sandoval into the game. He's had a lot of playing time tonight. He's even caught a pass for the Mustangs. First down and just less than 10 yards to go at the 6-yard line. From the pistol, Linker back to throw at his own goal line. Hit as he throws deep up the middle. Caught at the 38-yard line by himself at the 40. Down the sideline to the 30, to the 20. Goodbye! Touchdown! 94 yards. And the Mustangs lead 20-0. And that is Donovan Moya with the reception for Fort Morgan. I was almost playing center field.
Yeah.
I think if the Niwot defender backed up a bit, he might have had a shot to make the play, but Moya with a 94-yarder, and the Mustangs lead by 3 scores, looking for their 21st point of the game.
And Moya just dusted that defender and increased the distance between them by about 5 yards.
A heavy rush, and it looked like an offside by Niwot. I mean, can we agree that that ball was actually underthrown?
Oh, yes. Yeah.
Because he was just waiting for the ball. I thought it was going to be deflected away. Yeah, offside. Here's where maybe you could try a 2-point conversion, but you know what? I think what you hit on, Brian, before the game, got to make sure those extra points stay intact.
Right.
And Linker just heaved that up the middle of the field. But by the way, it wasn't Linker's fault that it was underthrown. He was getting hit pretty hard as he threw that football. So it was actually a great throw by Linker considering the circumstances. And once Moya caught it, there was nobody in front of him. Now the PAT. Linker puts it down. The kick is up. That is right down the middle. 5 minutes, 35 seconds to go, second quarter. Fort Morgan 21, Niwot nothing. This is Mustang football on B106 and B106.com. Once again, it's the quick strike Fort Morgan offense, 94 yards. From Linker to Donovan Moya. That kick towards the sideline, bounces at the 14. The ball is still loose, and it's picked up at the 12, and not much running room along the far sideline. But now it's handed off to another Niwot Cougar across the 20 to the 22-yard line. A lot of trickery over there by Niwot. The man who was tackled was Hay. And Christopher Schneider made the tackle on special teams for Fort Morgan. Well, the Mustangs are not going to win time of possession tonight. But that doesn't matter because they are scoring quickly.
Hopefully they can hold Niwot and get another score yet this half.
1st and 10 for the Cougars at their own 22-yard line. Under center is Aiden Bartko once again. Bartko will hand it off to Flanagan along the right side. He's got no running room. The Mustangs' run defense has been outstanding tonight. Tackle was made right at the line of scrimmage. Alex Ortega in on the hit. And a Niwot Cougar is down. It will be a gain of 1 to the 23. 2nd down and 9 yards to go. And once again, Flanagan has been contained tonight. Unofficially, he has 15 yards on 9 carries.
Kind of a tale of the game so far is that their quarterback, who's thrown probably 3 or 4 times more interceptions than touchdowns, has not been picked off tonight.
Well, that could change at some point as the wind is picking up a little bit here.
He's been pretty accurate with these passes tonight. I'm impressed the way he's been looking, but according to the stats, 2 touchdowns and 6 interceptions. So
I'm not sure who's down. That might be an offensive lineman.
I think so. 74.
Yep. The offensive lineman, Jonathan Carrillo, 5'11", 280, a senior. He got rolled along, but he's fine now, getting up and limping under his own power. So 2nd down and 9 yards to go for Niwot at their own 23-yard line. The Mustangs have touchdown runs of 69 and 1 yard from J.P. Hamer. And at the 94-yard heave down the middle of the field, Linker threw that ball about 50 yards. It was caught near midfield. And then Moya traveled the rest of the way, and it totaled 94. Clock running once again, approaching the 5-minute mark. 2nd and 9, second quarter. Bartko will hand it off to Molina, tries to snap out of a tackle, and he does, but then gains an additional, well, maybe 3 or 4 yards. He kept going. He's strong. It took a few Mustangs to bring him down, including Jacob Ortega once again. At the 27, a gain of 4, an impressive run for not much running room for Molina. 3rd and 5 for Niwot.
Is he 5'9", 160?
Well, when you're individual. Yeah, when you're low to the ground like that. He's the lone setback on 3rd and 5 from the 27-yard line. Mustangs look like they're coming on a blitz. And play action, rolling to his right, throwing it underneath. Intercepted, or was it dropped? No, caught. Intercepted by Caden Edson at the 35. A sliding interception. And the Mustangs have come up with the first turnover of the game.
As Kevin was saying a minute ago about intercepting a pass right on cue.
Well, a little bit past the cue, but close enough. I'll give it to him. We always round off.
It was on the same drive anyway.
That's a good point. Brian, you're right. I stand corrected. 1st and 10 for the Mustangs at the 35. But now, if Kevin wants to complete the exacta, to use a parimutuel term, they have to score here.
Right. I think we're going to see Hamer.
Ortega, the receiver, to the right. Fajardo to the left. There is Hamer running off right tackle, bouncing it to the outside to the 33. He's at the 30, has the sideline to the 20, out of a tackle at the 15-yard line, back to the inside of the 10, back to the outside, 1st and goal. What a run by Hamer. This guy is magical at times running that football, as he demonstrated there. It's a gain of 29 yards for J.P. Hamer, 1st and goal, Fort Morgan.
Now that one, he kind of got an early start out to the side, but then as they closed in on the sideline, he did a little juking and got himself another 5-6 yards.
Well, PA says it's at the 5, be a gain of 30. Just shy of the 5-yard line. I could tell you who the receivers are, but more than likely this will be another run play, whether it's Linker or Hamer. It will be Linker, and Linker's by himself. They thought Hamer had the football, running to his left, and he scores. Just outside of his left tackle, nobody there for Niwot. It's a 5-yarder for Isaac Linker, and Fort Morgan is now in the lead, 27-0 with 4:02 to go in the second quarter in Longmont over these Niwot Cougars. That's what happens when you establish the run game as well as Fort Morgan does. They cheat towards that one running back, and the Mustangs made Niwot pay. Cardona with the PAT. Linker once again will hold. Cardona is 3 for 3. Cardona is now 4 for 4. Fort Morgan 28, Niwot nothing. We return in 30 seconds on B106 and B106.com. Fort Morgan has had the ball 4 times in this game, and they have scored all 4 times. The Mustangs with only a 35-yard drive there. The key play, besides the 30-yard run by Hamer, was the interception by Caden Edson. They lead 28-0. Cardona's going to kick it towards the sideline again, and it goes out of bounds at the 10. That's the way Niwot has good field position, is if the ball's kicked out of bounds, because they've been back inside their 10, inside their 20, but twice now at the 35-yard line. And the passing game has been stymied since the early success for Niwot. The Mustangs adjusted to it, as evidenced by that last interception.
I still can't figure out where he was throwing it that time. It was kind of a middle screen, but he just threw it over everybody, and Edson, as the deep safety, just sat down and caught it on the ground.
Well, it's a naked backfield, so this will be a running play. The quarterback, Bartko, wide receiver screen, caught it. No, dropped by Fisk. He had it in his hands, and then he just dropped it. 2nd down and 10 to go. Ortega. Jacob Ortega and Donovan Moya were the nearest defenders to the receiver. And Fort Morgan still has a shot to score again before halftime if they can force a 3-and-out or maybe come up with another turnover.
Absolutely.
Tough to get it to a running clock, though, before halftime with 3:58 to go, up 28-0. They've scored 2 touchdowns in each of the first 2 quarters. 2 receivers out to the left side, 1 to the right. The lone setback is Liam Flanagan. Man in motion to the left is Cologne. Now back to his right. Awaiting the snap is Bartko. 4-step drop. He's a deep up the right side. Receiver out there, and it's broken up beautifully by Donovan Moya at the 31-yard line. Broken up and intended over there for Noterman. 3rd down and 10, and that was a little bit underthrown because that could have been trouble for the Mustangs, Kevin.
Right. He had him a little bit deep. Moya has really good closing speed, and he was able to catch up. He almost had a shot at catching that one, but
in fact, I thought it was picked for a second.
Yep. Moya just has kind of deceptive speed. Going back to that touchdown throw that he caught, he caught it about 2 yards deep on the guy, and by the time he got 15 yards downfield, he had a 5-6 yard lead on him, and just continued.
And there's a handoff on a 3rd and 10. Mustangs were coming in a blitz, and back to the line of scrimmage maybe is Flanagan. And too many Mustangs in there, including Case Gibbons and Miko Yanez. 4th down and 10. Fort Morgan still has 2 timeouts remaining with 3.5 to go. Jacob Ortega, the deep man, at the 28-yard line. And Isaac Fisk will be punting this time, if he indeed is going to punt. We'll see. On 4th and 10. Here comes the rush. He's going to throw the ball over the middle. The pass is caught at the 45-yard line, and it's a 1st down to the 47. The Mustangs probably should have been prepared for something like that. Down to the 46 is Cologne. Is that a flag down in the middle at the 43-yard line? I see a flag. Let's see if that was legal.
Officials are talking. Should be men downfield, I would guess.
I would guess. Yep.
That's why you guys are here. Your IQs probably are 3 times higher than mine.
Well, and as a coaching point, anytime you do a fake punt like that, you want your guys on a punt to release downfield all the time. And it's hard for them to not do it one time.
Well, it nullified a gain of 19, but it also tells you that if there's different personnel in there, your punter's not in there, it's somebody else, then more than likely it might not be a punt. And now they have their normal punter, Eric Ruiz, out there. Clock is running, 3 minutes to go, and now we have a false start against Niwot. So a 19-yard gain nullified, a 3rd and 10 turned into a 3rd and 50, now a 3rd and 20. Fort Morgan might be able to start this possession in Niwot territory. And they do receive the second half kickoff, by the way.
Correct.
Right.
All right, Ruiz at his own 12-yard line. On 4th and 20. Here comes a snap, heavy rush, line drive. That's an excellent punt. Bounces at the 31, takes a huge Niwot roll. Ortega has to pick it up at the 18, stutter stepping, looking for a seam, getting a block, swinging it to the outside of the 20. There's a flag down. Ortega might go all the way. It's not going to matter. Flag is down at the 20. Ortega's at the 30 to the 20, right sideline 10. And it's a touchdown, but the 82-yarder is coming back, and even the Fort Morgan fans along the way know it, which is why there's no celebration, no clapping whatsoever. That's the second touchdown the Mustangs have had called back in this game.
Yeah, they call that illegal block on Frankie Ortega. Illegal block in the back.
And that was a 57-yard punt, by the way. So nothing went right for Fort Morgan there, but you know what? It's hard to set up the blocking schemes there when you pick up the ball that deep, and then Ortega's trying to maneuver his way around. If there wasn't some sort of illegal block, he probably would have been tackled even before he got to his own 25 or 30-yard line. They say 15 yards.
15 yards.
Yeah, so that's got to be half the distance.
Yeah. Yep.
There we go.
The full moon rising, trying to peek out from behind the clouds there.
But this is what Fort Morgan wants, right? Starting at your own 10. Brian will recap the length of the drives at halftime, but you go 98-94.
Yeah.
This is
right where they want to be.
Right. Exactly. This is their 3rd worst field position, not their 2nd or worst. And we still have 2:31 to go before the break. The Mustangs with a 28-0 lead in Longmont over the Niwot Cougars. When it comes to experience, Buildings by Design is the best in the business. Quality, commitment, and experience makes Buildings by Design the only choice when it comes to your next project. We have a couple of receivers to the left side, 2 to the right. 1st and 10 from the 10 for Fort Morgan. The middle of the field is wide open, which means if they give it to Hamer, he could go the distance. Linker will hand it off to Hamer, running to his left to the 10. He's to the 15, stutter stepping, tries to break out of a tackle, but he's down at the 18-yard line for the gain of 8. Linker wants his team to hurry up. They do have now just 1 timeout remaining, as Fort Morgan has taken their 2nd timeout. With 2:19 to go. Let's update the J.P. Hamer numbers unofficially. He has carried the ball 10 times in the game for 170 yards and 2 touchdowns. It's already more yards than last week, but then again, he was taken out early last week because with 7:51 to go in the 2nd quarter, Fort Morgan had a 40-0 lead.
Right.
And because Niwot, and that's another thing, Brian, let's look at that at halftime, because you mentioned that's a great number you're talking about with that time of possession.
Right.
That's kind of, but it hasn't thrown Fort Morgan off its rhythm. It's just kept Fort Morgan's defense on the field a little bit more.
Right. Yeah, they just haven't had the offense, just hasn't had the ball as many times, but when they've had it, they've capitalized.
You know, they talk when you're watching college and pro games about how the offense needs to get a couple first downs to give that defense a chance to rest. Fort Morgan's defense is probably saying you need to not score on 3 or 4 plays and give us a little more rest.
You're on your game there, Kevin. Absolutely. 2nd down and 2 yards to go for the Mustangs at their own 18-yard line. 2 touchdowns for J.P. Hamer, 1 from Donovan Moya and 1 from the quarterback Isaac Linker. From the pistol formation, they're coming on a blitz. Linker back to throw, pressure up the middle, rolls out to his right. He's flushed, still rolling. He might take off, throws over the middle. That's complete to Ortega at the 25. Ortega swings it to the outside of the 40, into the secondary along the right sideline to the 35-yard line. Still on his feet, and then he's out of bounds towards the 20-yard line. A huge gainer for Fort Morgan, and Linker at the last second found Ortega underneath and was able to dump it off. And let's see if it's spotted right at the 20-yard line. They still haven't spotted the football. Mustangs are moving back. It's at the 23, so it's a gain of 59 yards and a 1st down for Fort Morgan.
And did you see who was out in front of him blocking? Whoever that was did a really good job of leading the way.
At the 23-yard line, and the clock is stopped with 2:05 to go, 2nd quarter. Trips to the left. Isaac Linker. He's got a quarterback draw to the 20-yard line, back to the middle to the 10. Linker to the 5. Linker's in! Touchdown, Isaac Linker. His 2nd rushing touchdown of the game as he zigzagged his way by the Niwot defenders, and Fort Morgan now leads 34-0.
Give the umpire an assist on blocking Niwot's number 55. They both ended up in a pile back out at the 23-yard line.
Yeah, I saw that. I didn't see the collision. I saw the aftermath.
Mustangs now have 3 touchdowns in the 2nd quarter. And now Cardona with the extra point off the hold of Linker. Boy, that was some nifty running by Linker. I didn't think he was going to go all the way, but he did. Snap. The kick, that is perfect again. Cardona's been kicking tremendously tonight. 1 minute, 57 seconds to go. 2nd quarter. Fort Morgan 35, Niwot nothing. This is B106 and B106.com. A 90-yard drive for Fort Morgan. How many times in the history of Fort Morgan High School, even in, forget about a game, in 1 half, have they gone on 3 drives of 90 yards or more? That's happened tonight here in Longmont. There's the kick by Cardona towards the middle, fielded at the 18-yard line, along the left side to the 28, now the 30. That might be Noterman out there on the return. And Niwot still has 2 timeouts remaining, 1 minute 51 to go, 2nd quarter. Fort Morgan with a 35-0 lead. Isaac Linker scored on the 23-yarder. But the big play on that drive was the 59-yard pass to Jacob Ortega. Boy, get a hold of these numbers for Linker tonight. He's 4 out of 6 passing for 178 yards.
Did you notice number 3 was out there for Niwot on that kickoff? His name is Jorge.
Yep, 1st and 10 from the 30. There's the give to Molina along the right side. He's got a yard to the 31. 2nd down and 9.
Now, folks, that's not Jorge as in the Spanish pronunciation of George.
No, it's Horhay. Jesus Villalobos made the hit for Fort Morgan.
Jorge, a 5'3", 100-pound senior playing for the Niwot Cougars.
Molina with 3 carries for 9 yards. Again, under center is Bartko on 2nd down and 9 for the 31. And Bartko with a handoff to Flanagan. He's got a hole. Check that. Nope. That's once again to the 36. That is Molina. Gain of 5. 3rd down and 4 to go for Niwot. We're at 51 seconds to go. Fort Morgan will not take a timeout here. And there's no need to. You're up. No. It's up to Niwot whether they want to keep this first half going. On 3rd and 4 from the 36-yard line. 35 seconds to go. The clock is running. And Bartko with a hard count. Hands it off to Molina, and he's going to be tackled for a loss at the 35. Running along the right side. Nope. Or actually right at the line of scrimmage. Alex Ortega and Nick Norris made the play. It'll be 4th down, and Fort Morgan did call a timeout.
Yep. See if they can do something on a punt return. And
24 seconds to go.
Timeout called by the Mustangs.
I guess you might as well give it a try. You know,
I thought you were going to say use up those timeouts because you can't keep them in your pocket. That's been your token, your stock line, Kevin.
I thought that's where he was headed. In it.
Yeah, right?
Just detoured.
I mean,
right.
what happened there? What happened? It was a predictable comment that you didn't make, and Brian and I are completely thrown off.
Well, I've been scouting the games, and I'm trying to come up with something that you're not expecting, so I can score.
It's a good point. Caught us off guard. Yeah, Fort Morgan's obviously looking for a big return here.
Yeah, they had one on the last one. If they wouldn't have had that penalty.
I think part of the philosophy, too, if you can somehow score another touchdown before the end of the first half, you can start off fresh with your second teamers in the 3rd quarter and not have your starters play for maybe a couple of minutes here.
Right.
Once the second half gets underway. There's a snap. Heavy rush, and it's blocked. The ball is loose along the left sideline. And at the 25-yard line, bouncing on it is Nick Norris. Not sure who got a hand on the football, but the Mustangs block it. They got a shot here with 17 seconds to go before halftime. And 1 timeout. This is Morgan County's B106 KPRB, Brush Fort Morgan. I'm John Beltran with Brian Nickel and Kevin Rohde. Mustangs have it at the 25-yard line. Heavy rush right up the middle, and it was a low-line drive, but that time blocked over there, and Norris fell on it. Fort Morgan has probably 3 plays at the most that they can run, even with that timeout.
Right.
1st and 10 for the 25, up 35-0, 17 seconds to go before halftime. Linker, pistol, hands off to Hamer, swings it to the outside at the 20-yard line, tries to break out of a tackle, and then he's tackled at the 18. Mustangs got to call a timeout, and they do not yet.
They're
6
out.
seconds. They are at a timeout. Yep, they're not going to get the playoff. It was down at the 17. I thought they had 1 to go, but they didn't. Yeah, that's right, they didn't. I miscounted the timeouts. A gain of 7 yards, make it 8 yards for J.P. Hamer, and that's the end of the opening half. With a score, Fort Morgan 35, Niwot nothing. Let's take a 3-minute break on B106 and B106.com. John Beltran back with Brian Nickel and Coffin Kevin Rohde here from Everly Montgomery Field in Longmont. The Mustangs lead the Niwot Cougars by a 35-0 score as we head to the 3rd quarter. And the Mustangs will receive the opening kickoff. So, you know what? Maybe the offense doesn't even take the field. How many times have We've seen a kickoff return for a score. Is it twice this year by Hamer?
Yep.
Twice this year, so let's not assume, unless the ball's kicked out of bounds, that's necessarily going to happen.
Right. Or into the end zone, because the kicker's out there practicing, and he's kicking it about to the end zone each time. So we will see.
We were talking earlier about time of possession. It looks like Niwot about 16 to 17 minutes worth of possession in that first half.
Which would have given the Mustangs the football for only 8 minutes.
Yep.
So 7 to 8 minutes, but again, big play offenses can make up for not possessing the football for a long period of time, as the Mustangs proved, with a 69-yard run by Hamer for a touchdown, a 94-yard pass from Linker to Donovan Moya for a score, a 59-yard pass underneath to Jacob Ortega. And again, another one of these games where we're going to have difficulty picking the Mustang player of the game because there are so many contributors at this point.
Right.
And last week we went in a different direction. Where, was it last week or two?
Yep.
With Adam Cardona.
Right.
Because he's been very good tonight.
Right.
Doesn't have a touchdown, but does have 5 extra points, which you think, come on, that's an extra point. In high school football, you don't assume any point.
No.
That's true. We got Donovan Moya doing a great job on defense, breaking up that one deep pass and also catching the one and running it in for a touchdown.
Well, the game that we had the most difficulty picking a Mustang player of the game was against Lutheran. So we gave it to J.P. Hamer on offense, Donovan Moya on defense, and Frankie Ortega on special teams.
That's true.
Because they made 3 equally effective contributions in that game.
Oh, and the Lutheran coach for using all his timeouts.
Second half, we'll start here so we can get past that comment.
Right.
Although that game did total 3 hours and 11 minutes.
That was a long game.
I mean,
and I can guarantee this one will not match that.
No, although it will hit the 2-hour mark because we're already close to 8:30 if you're listening live. Of course, Mustang replay right after this game. And to kick it off for Niwot will be Josh Palomares.
Maybe they'll try an onside kick, see if they can recover it.
Wouldn't hurt.
Well, we'll find out. Yeah, you're right. I mean, they got none to lose.
No.
All right, but this one is booted high and pretty deep and backing up, and it goes into the end zone. No shot there. No shot for a return. And again, Fort Morgan has a player out there that we don't have that uniform number.
I think that was the same number we had last week that we don't know who it is.
All right, well, we'll have to get an updated roster.
That number is 88, so if anyone claims 88 as their own and wants to somehow get that number name to us, we'd appreciate it.
All right, J.P. Hamer is in there, along with Isaac Linker. So the first team is out there right now, 1st and 10 from their own 20-yard line. The Mustangs with a 35-0 lead here to begin the second half.
We do have some subs in.
2 receivers split out to the right, 1 to the left. Simon Graff, a senior, is the receiver to the left. Ernie Sandoval, who played a lot in the first half, is still in there. Mustangs looking over to the sideline for play instructions. Linker awaits a snap, 2-step drop, throws out to his left, caught by Graff at the 28-yard line. He's got a first down as he lunges to the 31. It's a gain of 11, and Simon Graff makes his first catch of the season for Fort Morgan.
Yeah, he was wide open out here on the left side. They were playing about 10 yards off of him.
Right.
1st and 10 at the 31-yard line for the Mustangs. Linker now is thrown for 188 yards in the game. J.P. Hamer, the lone setback. He already has a 69-yard touchdown tonight. Runs up the middle, but this time he's only going to get about 4 yards, maybe 5, to the 36-yard line as he twisted his body right through the middle of that Niwot defensive line. 2nd down and 5, and Hamer is up to 183 yards on 12 carries with that ball just shy of the 36. Ernie Sandoval checking out of the game. In the opening minute of the third quarter, Fort Morgan leads Niwot 35-0 on a gorgeous Colorado night. And gentlemen, the moon is out.
Yep. Full moon. I believe they call this a harvest moon tonight.
Here is Linker handing it off to Hamer, but he's stacked up at the line of scrimmage, and he tries to back his way for a yard. But Niwot with tremendous penetration. There's a late flag. Oh, let's see if that's against Hamer. He might have said something there. It's no gain.
Well,
Go ahead.
he pushed back, or he looked like he really didn't take a swing, but we'll see if the Niwot player did something first.
Yeah, I think that's against Hamer. In fact, the Mustangs are walking backwards, even though we have not seen the preliminary signal, which would make it a third down and about 20. Personal foul against Fort Morgan. Well, if they don't pick up the first down, they might have more than one possession in this quarter. Third down and 20 for the Mustangs at their own 21-yard line. And this, more than likely, is going to set up a passing situation.
And that's not the first time this year that Hamer's had a personal foul.
Well, you know what? He's a strong running back, and he's going to take some punishment. And next week, it's going to get a lot worse.
Yep.
Yes.
Yeah.
Next week, it's going to get a lot worse against number 1 ranked Erie.
And you can't afford to do that in that game.
Third down and 20 for the 21. 2 receivers split each side. Linker for the pistol formation. 3-step drop. Now rolling out to his right. He's flushed out of the pocket, looking for a receiver. Throws on the run. That pass is incomplete. It's short-hopped. Simon Graff at the 43-yard line. Fourth down and 20. And for the first time in the game, Fort Morgan will have to punt. But that's Alex Ortega and not Frankie Ortega to punt the football for the Mustangs. And for the first time, Niwot will set up a return with DeMonte Terry, a senior, as Alex Ortega standing at his own 4-yard line. So the Mustangs, because of the penalty, could not pick up the first down. Perfect snap. Gets it off. It's a high fluttering short punt. It'll drop at the 45-yard line to Fort Morgan. And for some reason, the Mustang downed it at the 49 when it could have still taken a Fort Morgan roll. So the punt goes for about close to 30 yards, but Niwot with excellent field position at the Fort Morgan 49-yard line as the Mustangs up 35-0. But Niwot looking to get on the board with 10:21 to go in the third. And Aiden Bartko has really been lining up under center quite a bit. He was in that shotgun formation earlier, and now with a naked backfield is 4 yards behind center. 4 receivers out to the left on 1st and 10 for the Mustang 49. Bartko, one-step drop, wide receiver screen to the left, and it's caught and then dropped by Fisk, picks up the football, and then he's tackled at the 50-yard line by Hamer. It's a gain of 1. Well, actually, they're going to call it incomplete. Actually, it would have been a loss of 1 as well, but it's 2nd down and 10. That's almost an NFL type of call there because it looked like he had it and then tried to tuck it away. 2nd down and 10 for Niwot.
Good job by Paxton getting out there and getting in on the tackle.
All right, so the football still at the Fort Morgan 49-yard line. Well, the running game has been very limited tonight for Niwot. If the Mustangs could take a 40-point lead, this game would go to a running clock with 10:08 to go in the third. Out of the pistol formation, Bartko throws it out to his right. There's going to be a double pass, and then the pass is well incomplete by Fisk.
I wish that would have been a good pass. It had been intercepted.
Yeah, because Cologne was well covered down the field. The Mustangs were not biting, which is why I mentioned at the outset of the game when they pulled that off for the big play. That's not going to happen twice.
No, you're fool me once on you, but fool me twice on me, and they've got it played just right.
3rd down and 10 for the Mustangs at the Cougar 49-yard line. And they might figure here that with only 49 yards to go and 10 for a first down, that they might run 2 plays here instead of 1. 4 receivers to the left, 1 to the right. Looking right, throwing. The pass is incomplete off the left hand of the intended receiver at the 43-yard line. That was Jared Noterman. It'll be 4th down, and Niwot will have to punt. And the Mustangs, more than likely, unless they can block this thing, will not be in good field position as Donovan Moya and Jacob Ortega are standing inside their 20-yard line. Eric Ruiz will punt for Niwot. Awaiting the snap. Light rush, line drive. It takes a bounce, fielded by Moya at the 15. To the right to the 25-yard line. Stutter stepping to the 30, and then Moya's tackled at the 36-yard line. A return of 21, and Fort Morgan 64 yards away from getting this game to a running clock. 1st and 10 for the Mustangs.
And he did a good job of getting upfield with that. They're just too good of a coverage to break free.
Want to wish a happy birthday to my wonderful friend Carol in Miami. I met her 25 years ago when she was 25, so you can do the math. Celebrating a big one tonight. So happy birthday to Carol. Hope she's had a great night in beautiful Miami, Florida. 1st and 10 from the 36. Linker from the pistol. Handoff right side, and it's a loss of 1. That's not Hamer this time. That is Cale Langford on the carry, but he was stacked up in the backfield by Eric Ruiz. 2nd down, and we'll call it 10. He just about got to the line of scrimmage.
Ernie Sandoval back in as the blocking back.
Just shy of the 36-yard line. On 2nd down and 10, 2 receivers out to the left. Is Linker going to do that little rollout? Nope, back to throw. Looking left, throws over the middle. Incomplete. Oh, Fajardo was open, but it was overthrown. Oh, a nice slant, a well-run pattern by Fajardo, but he airmailed it. 3rd down. And 10 yards to go for Fort Morgan.
Yeah, Fajardo, remember, had that great game against Lutheran defensively. And then, was it last week we didn't see him at all?
2 weeks ago,
2 weeks ago,
yeah.
right? So.
Oh, it's up to Linker here. 3rd and 10 from the 36-yard line. Linker, play action, rolls out to his left, gets a block, throws on the run, and it's complete at the 47-yard line. That's a gorgeous reception by Jacob Ortega. It's a gain of, we'll call it 13, and a Mustang 1st down as the drive continues for Fort Morgan.
Yeah, rolled out to his left again. Had some nice blocking out here in front of him. Gave him plenty of time to throw the ball.
1st and 10 for the 48-yard line of the Mustangs, up 35-0. Again, looking over towards the sideline for play instructions is this Fort Morgan offense. The lone setback is Langford. The senior quarterback, Linker, will keep it himself, runs to his right, breaks out of 1 tackle, still on his feet. He broke 2 tackles across the 50 to the 47. That's a hard-earned 5 yards for Isaac Linker.
Yeah, he's got a heart of a lion, that kid. He just doesn't want to go down. He wants to run over people and fight for every yard.
From the 47, 2nd down and 5. AC Ice proudly supports local high school sports. Crystal clear ice, good for any drink at any time of year, at any local grocery or convenience store in Northeast Colorado. That's AC Ice. 2nd and 5 from the 47. Linker from the pistol. Hand off to Langford. Stutter steps to the 45. Back up the middle. Close to a 1st down, but he's going to be a couple of yards short to the 44 before he's wrapped up, not even taken down there. 3rd down and 2 to go for Fort Morgan.
Yeah, I don't know. They must have setting Hamer out right now, maybe teaching him a little bit of a lesson to keep his temper in check.
Right. Or if he's frustrated, why put him in the position where he might get a second one and get thrown out or something. So protect him for sure. He's the franchise.
3rd down and 2 to go for the 44. Yeah, you need all your weapons next week against Erie and into the playoffs. And now, Fort Morgan with 7:02 to go in the 3rd, leading by 5 touchdowns, has called their first timeout. We'll keep it right here. If Hamer does not come back into the game, he ends the game with 13 carries for 183 yards. And if Fort Morgan scores here, he definitely won't be back.
Yeah, I see him standing over on the sideline over there. He's got his arms crossed, his helmet on. But If they can do what they need to without him right now, then you just as well save him.
Yeah, he's averaging 14 yards per carry on the night. That's
Yep. Yeah, 13 for 178. Yeah. Just doing a solid job, and the Mustangs will take on the #1 ranked Erie Tigers next Friday night, 7 o'clock on B106 and B106.com in Fort Morgan. Mustang Express next Friday will kick off our coverage at 6 o'clock, and of course, at 9:30, Friday nights during the regular season, the Colorado Prep Scoreboard Show. We'll have it tomorrow night, even though we don't have Mustang football. And then Mustang replay at 11 normally. Tonight, Mustang replay right after this game if you're listening live. 3rd down and 2 for the 44. Laker rolls out to his right, can run with the football, throws underneath, complete. Jacob Ortega, 1st down at the 38. It's a gain of 6, even though they only needed 2. And Fort Morgan that much closer to the end zone.
Yeah, going back to his reliable target out there in Ortega once again.
He's got 3 catches for 78 yards in the game. And at the 38-yard line, nearly midway through the 3rd quarter, Fort Morgan got touchdown runs of 69 and 1 yard from J.P. Hamer. And 2 touchdowns on the ground from Linker. One from 5, the other from 23. Then the 94-yarder in between all that on the pass from Linker to Moya. There is the pitch left. Stutter stepping is Ortega. Back to the middle to the 37-yard line, and that's it. Gain of 1. A lot of dancing for a yard before the tackle was made over there by Eric Ruiz. 2nd down and 9 yards to go for Fort Morgan.
Yeah, you're not going to get far when you're starting to stutter step around back there. It gets time for the defense to close in.
he was able to turn a possible loss into at least a gain of 1.
On 2nd and 9 from the 37. Linker from the pistol, Langford the lone setback. And Langford has the football running right, breaks out of a tackle, and then backs into Ruiz. Right back to the line of scrimmage. 3rd and 9 for Fort Morgan. Yeah, nothing KO could do there once Ruiz got a hold of him. 3rd down and 9 to go at the 37 for the Mustangs. Again, leading 35-0 with 5:13 to go in the 3rd quarter. Like a good neighbor, Greg Mullen and his team at State Farm Insurance are there to make the insurance world easy for you. 842-4555 State Farm Insurance. 3rd and 9 from the 37 of Niwot. Linker back to throw to his right. The pass is incomplete behind Cardone at the 30. He was not open. He was wide open. But it was an errant throw. It'll be 4th down.
Yeah, Cardona was wide open out there in that flat, but it was behind him. So
I think he was anticipating him
stopping
as sitting in that seam, and Cardona kind of slanted, and there was the miscommunication. And Fort Morgan's going to punt again. Well, this will be longer than we thought in terms of the length of the game. They still have not got to the 40 points for the running clock. Snap to Alex Ortega. And the punt towards the sideline. That's a beauty. Bounces at the 6. And down by Moya at the 1. Holy Mahungas, what a punt.
Yep, that was beautiful and a nice play by Moya to get down there and cover it.
Yeah, that was a lot better punt than he had the first one.
Well, that one went for 36 yards with no return. And let's see if I thought he downed it at the 1. There's officials standing at the 2 and 3 yard line. Yeah, they're going to say the 2. Yeah. Just shy of the 2 yard line. Well,
I think he cut it at the 2 and then stepped out at the 1, and you saw that. So, yeah, the official's right there. And either way, it's great defensive position for the Mustangs.
1st and 10 at the 2 yard line for Niwot. Bartko is under center. Bartko hands it off, and boy, nearly tackled in the end zone. Over there is Flanagan. Right there, tackled, and it's a loss of a yard. 2nd down and 11. 2nd and 11 at the 1 yard line. Too many Mustangs there to make that play. That was too good for Fort Morgan. He might have to throw out of this formation. On 2nd and 11 from the 1 from that pistol. And then the quarterback keeper, that's going to be a safety. Unless, that's a safety, or is that a touchdown? I think the ball was fumbled. The ball's actually fumbled. Fort Morgan recovers.
Yeah, I didn't see who picked it up, though.
I can tell you who picked it up. Picking it up for Fort Morgan and scoring that one was Draven Wood.
Yep.
The sophomore recovers the fumble. It was stripped by Bartko in the end zone, and Fort Morgan now leads 41-0. It would have been a safety had Bartko held on to the football, but instead the strip and the recovery by Draven Wood gives the Mustangs the lead of 41-0. Now it goes to a running clock.
I've never seen a running clock get started that way, but we'll take it.
That's for sure, yeah. I knew he'd kept it, but I didn't know he'd dropped it.
And the extra point by Cardona is good. 3:35 to go under a running clock, third quarter. Fort Morgan 42, Niwot nothing on B106 and B106.com. Draven Wood, a sophomore with a fumble recovery in the end zone off the strip of quarterback Aiden Bartko. And now the Mustangs lead by a score of 42-0 under a running clock. Adam Cardona will kick it off. There's a line drive, and it's dropped and still loose, and it's still loose at the 1 yard line and picked up over there. And the Mustangs trying to make the tackle across the 5 to the 10, a seam to the outside to the 20-yard line, and across the 20 to the 22. That was DeMonte Terry. That could have been disastrous for him, and it didn't turn out that bad.
Yeah, he made something out of nothing on that one, that's for sure.
All right, so this quarter will come to an end pretty soon with Fort Morgan up 42-0. Off the Draven Wood fumble recovery in the end zone. Now we got a minute 55 to go. Again, running clock. 1st and 10 for Niwot at their own 23-yard line. Bartko sends a man in motion to the left, rolls out to his right, throws a screen out to the left, incomplete. There's pass interference on Cale Langford. He did hit the intended receiver. Boy, there's like 3 flags out there. It was intended. Does that say 15? I don't have that number on the roster, but nonetheless, definitely pass interference. I don't think he obviously didn't read that as a pass because he made contact.
Yeah, I don't think he even knew that the pass was going to him.
Right, no, he didn't.
Several substitutes in now. We've got Leo Luna out there at corner, Chris Snyder at safety, and a couple other kids that you don't normally see.
And now the pass is incomplete out to his right on a 1st and 10 for the 38. It was intended over there for Julian Bell. 2nd down and 10 to go for Niwot. And Bartko had such a great start when he was 10 for 11. But now in his last 8 passes is 0 for 8 with a pick.
And here's his time to shine when his receivers are running out there against second-team defenders. He should be able to hit some open receivers and get some yards.
Down to 21 seconds to go, third quarter. Fort Morgan with a 6-touchdown lead here in Longmont over the Niwot Cougars from the 38-yard line. And play action, throwing off his back foot. That's incomplete, intended for Cologne along the left sideline in front of the Fort Morgan bench. And that's the end of the third quarter with the score. Fort Morgan 42, Niwot nothing.
Nope.
We return.
You got a defensive penalty.
Well, but that shouldn't make a difference. They're going to still run the play then, huh?
Yeah.
At the end of the quarter, personal foul against roughing.
Oh, yeah, it was
roughing the
Chase
passer.
Givens, I think.
Okay, this is in the NFL. Driving him into the ground doesn't matter. All right, back in 60 seconds.
Quarter.
Fort Morgan 42, Niwot nothing on B106 and B106.com. Let's head to the fourth quarter. John Beltran with Brian Nickel and Kevin Rohde. 42-0 Fort Morgan. 1st and 10 for Niwot. Bartko throws out to his right, incomplete. It's broken up beautifully at the 43-yard line, broken up by Leo Luna. intended for Isaac Fisk. That was a 1st down and 10 play for the Mustang 47-yard line off the personal foul, off the roughing the passer by the Mustangs. Looking for the shutout. They couldn't do it last week. They were up 40-0 on Thompson Valley. They did shut out Northridge 2 weeks ago, 47-0. 2nd down and 10 from the 47 of Fort Morgan. Bartko looks out, throws to his left, and that pass is incomplete. Off the hands of the intended receiver at the 40-yard line, and that is Fisk. 3rd down and 10 to go.
That was on the receiver. That one hit his hands. He had every chance to catch that.
Yeah, I've never seen this. 10 out of 11 for 100 yards, now 0 out of 10 in his last 10 passes with an interception. We have 10:53 to go under a running clock. 3rd down and 10 to go for Niwot at the Mustang 47. Man in motion to the right. Looking to throw a screen as Bartko to his left. Incomplete. Off the hands of Jonathan Colon at the 48. Cale Langford was there to defend for Fort Morgan. And Niwot will have to punt on a 4th and 10.
Yeah, it looked like the Mustang defense realizes it on that one because the defensive line backed off a little bit.
Right.
They could see it coming, and Langford would have been there if it would have been complete.
Well, now he's 0 out of 10 with a pick. I gave him one more pass. Mustangs have nobody back. Eric Ruiz to punch. A low snap, bounces in there, and he gets it off. Fluttering punt. It will bounce at the 7-yard line and go into the end zone. So Fort Morgan starts at their own 20. And even if this possession goes 3 and out, they can chew up 3 to 3.5 minutes.
Yeah. We'll see how liberally they sub on offense. I imagine that it would be pretty much all non-starters at this point.
Yeah, Jackson Langford is going to be the quarterback for Fort Morgan with 9:38 to go in the game, and the clock is running. And as my colleagues mentioned, a few Erie Tigers are here tonight scouting Fort Morgan, so they will be in Fort Morgan a week from tomorrow night, right here on B106 and B106.com. From the 20-yard line, Jackson Langford in the pistol formation. Again, his custom move is to wait for the play clock to get at 5 seconds and then start his count. It's at 5. On 1st and 10. Langford with a handoff right up the middle, and that should be Flores.
Number 10, Jackson Langford.
And
27.
Yep, that's Matt Flores.
Number 21, Alex Ortega.
For a gain of 4. No, I don't think it was Ortega. They're saying Ortega, but I thought that was or Angel Flores, excuse me.
Yep.
Yeah,
2nd down and
28.
6 to go. Yeah, so Flores will get a lot of carries here. Mustangs had 406 yards of total offense in the opening half. On 2nd down and 6 for the 24. Long snap count. Langford will take it himself, stutter stepping to the outside across the 25-yard line, that goes out of bounds at the 26 for a gain of 2. 3rd down and 4 to go for Fort Morgan. Yeah, see, I mean, they're just taking up time. Now we're under 8 minutes to go in the game. Just letting that clock roll the seconds right off. 3rd down and 4 to go from the 26. Brian and Kevin thinking about what they're going to eat a little bit later on. It's been a primary thought of mine since we got up here. On 3rd and 4 for the 26. Play clock is at 3. There's the pitch right, swinging it to the outside. 1st down across the 30 to the 34-yard line for a gain of 8 is Leo Luna. Well, that'll give Fort Morgan about another 3 minutes of possession.
Right.
Yeah, the offensive line did a nice job that time. Clearing a hole, plus these receivers out here.
Right.
Giving him a hole to run through.
Bank of Colorado is the only bank dedicated to help you make the most of living in Colorado. They're just not a bank in Colorado. They're Bank of Colorado. Proud supporter of local sports and academics. And Colorado Plains Medical Center has experienced physicians and a highly trained surgical team. They're trained in the latest surgical procedures. Explore what procedures are possible in your hometown at Colorado Plains Medical Center. Flores right up the gut. That's a gain of about a yard, if even that. We'll give it second down and 10. Just beyond the 35. Yeah, they keep saying Ortega. That can't be Ortega.
No, it's not. They're looking there. They're thinking it's a 21 and it's a 27.
Second down, a short 10 to go at the 35. 6 minutes and 6 seconds to go from Longmont. This has been a familiar type of score. We've seen 40-14, 47-0, and now it is 42-0 for Fort Morgan. Langford hands it off to Flores, breaks a tackle at the line of scrimmage, and he's across the 40 towards the 41, the 42. It's a gain of 7. Third down and 3 to go for Fort Morgan.
Tough running there. He had several of the defenders grab his jersey and stretch it out, and then he pulled right out of those hand tackles. So good job by Flores.
Eric Ruiz leaves limping here for Niwot. Third down and about 2.5 to go for the Mustangs. By the time this play commences, we'll be close to 5 minutes to go in the game. On third down, Langford back to throw over the middle. Caught! First down, breaking a tackle at the 40 is Luna. And to the 38-yard line, another big play for the Mustangs in this game. They go from 138, well, nearly to another, to the 39-yard line. It's a gain of 23 yards. I don't think Langford's thrown an incompletion this season.
No. I was going to say, Langford keeps his perfect varsity record and goes to 3 for 3. Probably averaging about 15 yards per carry, too, or catch.
Oh, they can almost run out the clock here. Not quite, but first and 10 for the 39 of Niwot. Yeah, they can take it down inside of 2 minutes.
Somebody move.
Yep, they did for Fort Morgan.
Well, it's just another 30 seconds that they can run off the clock.
Yep.
First down and 15 for the Niwot 46.
So a question in my mind is, how many of his 3 timeouts will the Niwot High School coach use?
I'll rip that headset right off, man. I'm telling you. First and 15 from the 44-yard line. It's not the 46, for the 44. Jackson Langford from the pistol. He'll hand it off to Flores, who breaks out of a tackle, but not a second. And he's down at the 45, so it's a loss of 1. Second down and 16 to go for Fort Morgan, as the Niwot tackle came from Daniel Torres, a 6-foot, 200-pound junior. Now we're at 3:18 to go in the game. Fort Morgan cannot quite run it out, but they can come pretty close. On second down and 16 yards to go, Fort Morgan had a 35-0 lead at the break. Now it's 42-0. And only about 3, maybe 4 plays left in this game. Handoff left side, and that time it's Matt Flores driving inside the 45 to the 42 for a gain of 3. Third down and 13 to go for Fort Morgan. Fort Morgan has ended 2 of their 3 running clock games by scoring on the final play.
Right. But Frankie Ortega's not playing this game. He scored at least on one of those 2. I don't remember who scored the other one.
The other one was Matt Flores. Final play at Northfield. Third down and 13 to go for the 42-yard line. Approaching the 2-minute mark. Jackson Langford waiting for the play clock, and
Well, that was quick.
that could have been delay of game, was it?
Yes,
Yeah. Yep.
Well, he's looking at the play. Was there? Did he even count down?
Yeah,
He was counting
Okay.
down, but man, that seemed like it was awfully quick. But
well, he had his hand up before they even came to the line of scrimmage. So, I think it was quick.
All right, 3rd and 18 from the 47. Well, we'll just wait for the play clock again. Langford spins, broken play. He's going to get taken down for a loss back at midfield, a loss of 2. Okay, now Kevin desperately wants Niwot to call a timeout.
Actually, I'm thinking my strategy would be go for the delay of game, let him move you back 5 yards. Go for the delay of game, go back 5 yards.
you wouldn't have to give up the ball.
You
Wouldn't have to give up the ball.
4th and 21 here from midfield. I got to tell you, I was thinking the same thing. I just didn't want to say it. Well, they're going to go for it here. Yeah, the only way Niwot's going to run a play is if they call a timeout, because there's 55 seconds to go here. This will be a handoff to Flores, running to his left and take it down, and Niwot does call a timeout. 48, no, well, supposed to call a timeout.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, now the clock, 46 seconds to go. It's a loss of 2. So Niwot will have the football at the Fort Morgan 48. They still have 2 timeouts remaining. So they might try to do something here with the goal of averting a shutout.
Yep.
Well, I'm hoping that the coach called a timeout to get all his second-team offense together to get them in and let them have a chance. And I think that is what happened, because 16's coming out looking like he's going to be the quarterback.
Yep.
And I fully support him in that timeout.
This is Morgan County's B106. This is KPRB, Brush Fort Morgan. With 46 seconds to go, Fort Morgan with a 42-0 lead over Niwot. And Niwot does have their second team in their first down. And 10 to go from the Mustang 48-yard line. Yeah, that would be Angelo Salazar at quarterback, if I have that correct.
Yep. Correct.
A senior. And there was movement along the right side of the Niwot offensive line. So now 1st and 15, but the clock still doesn't run until the play commences. That'll place the football back at the 47 of Fort Morgan. We'll have a quick scoring recap after the game.
Brings up 1st and 15.
From the 47-yard line. And this time Salazar will keep it himself, running to his right. He's got his hole along the right side across the 40 towards the 39-yard line. That's going to be a first down, it looks like. Yep, it's a gain of 15 yards. 14 yards. It should be right at the stick. They haven't given the first down, but it's right at the stick. We have 18 seconds to go. The clock is running. This should be the final play of the game. This once again, the quarterback Salazar, stutter stepping, spinning, and he's down to the 34-yard line, and that will be at the 36-yard line, a gain of 3. And the Fort Morgan Mustangs have won tonight over the Niwot Cougars in Longmont, 42-0. Let's take a 2-minute break. Back in 2 minutes on B106 and B106.com. Mustang Post-Game Show is brought to you by Morgan Community College. They're there in Fort Morgan to make your dreams become a reality for both traditional and non-traditional students. Check them out at morgancc.edu. Fort Morgan Mustangs win tonight by a score of 42-0 in Longmont over the Niwot Cougars to improve to 4-0 in North Valley play. 8-1 overall. Niwot drops to 0-4 in league play, 3-6 on the season. And the Mustangs didn't waste any time. They scored on every possession of the opening half. In fact, they had 3 drives in the opening half that went for at least 90 yards on those particular drives. They got a touchdown run from J.P. Hamer of 69 yards to get the scoring started. So it was 7-0 at that point in the first quarter. The Mustangs tacked on another one on the final play of the quarter. A 1-yard run from Hamer made it 14-0, and then 3 more touchdowns in the second quarter. Isaac Linker had touchdown runs of 5 and 23 yards, and sandwiched in between those a 94-yard pass from Linker to Donovan Moya. So it was 35-0 at halftime. Then they got to the running clock when Draven Wood recovered a third quarter fumble in the end zone, and that made it 42-0. And you look briefly tonight statistically for the Mustangs on the offensive side, as I mentioned, they had 406 yards of offense in the first half alone. J.P. Hamer, 13 carries for 183 yards and the 2 scores. Linker on the ground had 51 yards on six carries, that is, and 2 touchdowns. And Linker through the air was very effective as well. As Isaac threw the ball, let's see, he threw it 12 times and completed 6, 7, 8. 8 of 12, make it 7 of 12. And he completed those for 207 yards. And he had the long touchdown. Jacob Ortega led the way with 3 catches in the game for 78 yards. All right, the Mustangs will be back at it coming up on Friday against the Erie Tigers. But time for the Mustang Player of the Game, brought to you by Transwest. They believe that customers are number one. Check out their selection online or just stop by one of their dealerships in Fort Morgan or Sterling today. That's Transwest. And with as good a season as Isaac Linker's had, we have bypassed him a few times for the Player of the Game because there have been other players that have made contributions who we haven't considered as much. But we'll give Isaac Linker the Player of the Game tonight. He's been instrumental on both sides of the football, and tonight not only passing that touchdown to Donovan Moya, but the 2 touchdown runs as well. So the senior quarterback, Isaac Linker, the Mustang Player of the Game, brought to you by Transwest. Outstanding job, as always, by our sound engineer and producer, Herrick Curtis, and, of course, our replay engineer as well, Emily Hernandez, for Brian Nickel and Kevin Rohde. Coffin Kevin. I'm John Beltran. The final score tonight from Longmont. The Mustangs get it done. They beat the Niwot Cougars 42-0 on Morgan County's B106 and B106.com.